Hey team, welcome to this week's episode of the Life First Business podcast. Today I wanted to talk about something really specific that I've experienced a lot, and I know that this is something that is a block for a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners when they're trying to make progress, particularly in the early stages of their business, and it just feels like wading through quicksand sometimes. When we're early on in our business and we're trying to navigate our way to hopefully a specific goal, but for a lot of people wanting to get to a certain point, which is to have a full client roster or to be serving enough people, bringing in enough income. And it can feel a lot like wading through quicksand, just trying to get to that point. One of the main reasons why, in my experience, is because we have to use a lot of our mental energy to take the actions that are out of our comfort zone. And we're trying to take action all the time, which is uncomfortable, and we can naturally kind of step away from doing or not put ourselves fully out there and taking these actions that we know we need to do to keep moving forward. Because when you're trying to do that constantly, day in, day out, it gets very exhausting, very mentally exhausting, very emotionally exhausting almost. I've even noticed this. Last week I hosted a masterclass. I made an offer at the end of that masterclass, which essentially is going through the sales process. And I've been going through that ever since, following up with people, sending emails, posting on my social media. And it's a really vulnerable place to be. Like when you're selling something, you do feel very vulnerable. You feel like you're really putting yourself out there. And that is an emotional upheaval, and it does take a lot out of us. But what can often hinder us is when we're trying to do all of that, but we're also trying to decide what actions to take. So not only are we having to use all our energy to take uncomfortable action, but we're expending a lot of energy trying to decide what actions to take. And that's where joining some kind of program, taking a course, working with a coach can really, really make a big difference. Because one, they're helping you make all those decisions about the actions and taking away a lot of that mental load by working through the strategy with you or giving you the strategy. And number two, they're going to be there backing you up and supporting you to help you take the action as well, that you're not just out there on your own trying to do it. So those are the two ways that a coach can really help you make progress really quickly. Now, what I've noticed when I've been in different programs is I've done so many programs over the last 6 years when it comes to business and marketing. I've been in, I've worked one-on-one with people, I've been in programs, I've taken courses, I've been in masterclasses, the whole shebang. And those courses and things have had varying levels of detail when it comes to the steps to take. Some of them are just like, here's a load of information, do with it what you will. Some of them are, here's some of the action steps that you need to take, and some of them are very detailed in terms of the action. I've never found a case where I'm still not having to use quite a bit of my mental energy to piece pieces together and create an actual day-to-day action plan for myself. Even in the program that's given me the most in terms of step-by-step. So my aim, obviously, I think for all of us, when we're creating something, we're putting our experience, our personal experiences into that and creating something that we know we would have loved to help other people. And that's really what I have put together when creating your Life First Business Launch, is I really wanted to take as much of that mental load of what decisions to take away from my clients, away from my students, and onto me, so that they can then really be focused on taking the action. If you're not in that program or you're not thinking about joining that program in the future, if you are in the early stages of your business, if you've listened to my other podcasts around the three phases of your business, if you're in that launch phase, that's when it can be really overwhelming deciding what actions to take, because most things you're doing for the first time. Find a way to get that clear strategy first, whether it's working with a coach or taking a course or a program or putting it together for yourself and kind of separating it from the action taking section of your input and your energy into your business. Map out a really clear strategy. I actually do help you to do this in my mini course, Your Life First Business Plan, to create that plan for yourself and how to go through the process of deciding what are the most important actions, what do you need to prioritize, and what order you're going to do things in. Approaching your business in that way by firstly putting together your action plan, then focusing your energy and your mental capacity on actually taking the action, and maybe try separating those two things a bit, because I think when you're trying to do both in tandem, it's really exhausting, and you can start to get into a place where you feel like you're just scattergun, trying different things, trying to do everything, trying to spread yourself really thin across actions, instead of getting really focused, taking that decision, making away from yourself by making that plan up front. So just a little tip today, because I definitely see that in myself and working with other clients, is that overwhelm of like, what steps should I take? And then running out of energy to be able to actually have that emotional capacity to take the actions when it's uncomfortable, when it's putting yourself out of your comfort zone. Also, I think having that awareness on how vulnerable it can make you feel when you're in the early stages of your business and you're putting yourself out there, or even when you're further down the line in your business and you're putting yourself out there. If it feels uncomfortable, then it probably means you're doing something right, because you are getting out of your comfort zone. It doesn't feel safe, and therefore it does make you feel really vulnerable. But see that as a positive thing. Have awareness of it, like do things to help yourself in that space. Like even after coming off that masterclass, I went for a really lovely walk in nature. None of my family were around birthing. All you want to do is give someone a big hug, because you have put yourself out there and you do feel very exposed. So I think having that awareness that that's what being in business can make you feel like, being kind to yourself about it, is also really helpful. So make that action plan, get support with that action plan if you need it, and then try to separate that from the time when you need to really be focusing your energy on taking the action and not deciding on what actions to take. And then have that awareness just on how it can make you feel when you're really putting yourself out there, and be kind to yourself about it and realize it's normal. Everyone feels like that. I think even if you've been in business for years like me, things that are new still make you feel like that. I hope that's helpful. Just a short episode today. It's something that's been on my mind and I wanted to share. If you are interested in your Life First business launch, having all the steps for you mapped out to launch your wellness or life coaching business and create your irresistible offer, and have a process on how to attract your ideal clients for that offer, nurture them and sell to them in a really authentic way that feels good, get in touch with me. I will be opening doors again soon and possibly doing some other things with that offer, some other options. So if you're interested in that, like, keep your eyes peeled on my content, but also just flick me a DM on Instagram or send me an email and just let me know you're interested. If you've got any questions, happy to chat about it anytime. If you want to jump into your Life First business plan, and that takes you through that whole process of making a really clear plan for yourself in your business, I'll share the link to that in the show notes as well. I'll speak to you next week. Take care.